This is EB2K, aka that Jolly Rancher, aka Pretty Ricky, what they call me, and aka the original king of receipts. I welcome you to my channel. In this video, I will show how Pearl Davis is so desperate to be somebody that she would lie, cheat, and steal for it. And I have the receipts, including how she buys subs, how she floods the YouTube algorithm, and steals other people's talking points. First, we will review Pearl's mom's, Jennifer Davis' resume and her background, and compare it to Pearl's. Secondly, I will expose Pearl's management team on how they use tactics to buy subs, flood YouTube's algorithm, and steal talking points. And lastly, I will reveal the main reason why Judge Pearlington acts as a sad and desperate grifter in these YouTube spaces. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is EB2K, the king of receipts. Let's get it. Okay, if you look on the screen now, you should see a short bio of Jennifer Davis, Hannah Pearl Davis's mother, who is a teacher, author, speaker, Christian, wife, and mother. And I will read the bio of Jennifer Davis as follows. Jennifer Davis, the co-founder and CEO of Davisware, has been at the forefront of business technology transformations, numerous field services companies since the age of 17, where she started the company with her husband, Dan Davis. While assisting contractors with technology implementation, Jennifer realized that culture plays a crucial role in successful technology deployment. This realization led her to advocate for culture in her customers' technology journey. However, Jennifer's accomplishments extend beyond business success. Growing up in an entrepreneurial family on a farm, she learned the value of hard work. She started her own business just before beginning college and experienced personal and professional growth throughout her 33-year career, all while managing a large family of 10 children. Moreover, Jennifer's leadership during the pandemic led her to share her journey through her first book, Living Exponentially, which quickly became an Amazon bestseller within 12 days. Now, as the founder and CEO of Be Exponential, an online community for ambitious women, her goal is to provide working moms with the necessary tools and infrastructure to achieve holistic success. Okay, if you look on screen now, you can see where Jennifer Davis is also the leader of an online community for progressive women called Be Exponential. And the promo reads as follows. Welcome to Be Exponential, your ultimate online resource dedicated to supporting women, particularly moms, on their journey toward holistic success without sacrificing anything. At Be Exponential, we understand the unique challenges and aspirations of women, especially those balancing the responsibilities of motherhood. We believe in fostering a positive and empowering environment where you can find the guidance, community, and infrastructure necessary to thrive as a woman and a mom. Our mission is clear to provide you with tangible and realistic advice alongside educational material curated from the world's leading experts who deeply understand the experience of women and mothers. We are committed to equipping you with the tools, knowledge, and inspiration needed to live a life that embraces both personal fulfillment and successful parenting. Whether you're seeking personal growth, professional development, or simply looking to enhance your overall well-being, Be Exponential is here to support you every step of the way. Our carefully crafted content and expert insights are tailored to address the unique challenges faced by women and mothers, ensuring that you have the resources to thrive in all aspects of your life. Join our vibrant community of like-minded women who share your journey. Explore our wealth of resources, connect with fellow moms, and unlock the secrets to achieve a truly exponential life while prioritizing your own well-being and the well-being of your family. Get ready to soar beyond your limits with Be Exponential because we believe that when women thrive, families and communities flourish. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the candy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the candy. So here's the backstory. Back in August of 2019, there was an announcement made by a company called Sorrent Capital. The title of the article and that announcement reads, Sorrent Capital invests in Davisware, a leading field services ERP software company. And I will read that announcement to you. Davisware, a leading provider of ERP software for field service businesses, has partnered with Sorrent Capital, a private equity firm with offices in Austin and San Francisco, focusing on investing in high-growth technology and services businesses. Davisware serves field services businesses, contractors, and OEMs across a variety of end markets, including food equipment service, petroleum contracting, commercial HVAC, and other specialty trades. Davisware's offerings include modular ERP systems, remote scheduling, and field technician management, field sales enablement, real-time vehicle tracking, inventory management system, and warranty management software. For more than 30 years, we've been focusing on delivering the best, most innovative solutions to our customers in the field service industry, said Davisware's co-founder and CEO, Dan Davis. Obviously, Dan Davis is Hannah Pearl Davis's father. Our partnership with Sorrent will bring the resources and expertise needed to reach even more customers and with more innovations. Keyword here, will bring the resources and expertise. That's also capital, aka money. This is an exciting time for Davisware, added co-founder and president Jennifer Davis. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more information here. Pearl's dad serves as CEO of the company, and her mom, Jennifer, serves as the co-founder and president. Okay. Since inception, Davisware has been focused on improving the operations efficiency of its customers via innovation and process automation. We are passionate about the growth of the trades through technology and education. As we continue to scale, we wanted to bring on an investment partner who could enable the next phase of our growth, and we feel that Sorrent Capital is perfectly suited to help us capture the opportunities ahead. Over 3 decades, Dan, Jennifer, and the Davisware team have built a robust software platform with a passionate customer base and a wonderful culture. We are thrilled to be partnering with them, said Lance Fenton, partner at Sorrent Capital. They are a leading software provider in the markets they serve, and we look forward to working with Davisware team to help continue the company's track record of growth and innovation. As part of this investment, both Dan and Jennifer, that's Pearl's dad and mom, will be joining the board of directors, and Jennifer will continue leading Davisware and work closely with Sorrent and the rest of the board to further strengthen the company's foundation for growth. So that's an interesting ending in that last sentence. Notice Sorrent Capital said that Jennifer will be joining the board and continue leading Davisware. So I wonder, is there some type of conflict of interest there where they chose the mother over the father to lead the company after their investment? So that's an interesting note. But guess what, y'all? I'm about to drop a bomb on you, right? I'm about to drop a bomb. In a recent video, I show that when Pearl's mom and dad's company was bought out recently by an investment firm, the firm decided to make the mom the lead as president so that the company could be eligible for set-aside federal grants for women-owned businesses. Now, you want to know why the federal government has these set-aside grants for women like Pearl's mom?
because the government recognizes historical discrimination against women in the past. So they set aside grants for women owned businesses as a form of reparations. Oh my God, you can't make this up. Oops. So here it is. Pearl's talking all this shit against women when Pearl is literally eating off federal contracts for women through her mama's business. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ebony Man 2K, the king of receipts. Let's get it.
What was you're researching my family now? I don't know what they titled it. Like, I don't your mom was the president, I believe. Yeah, I mean, they might have titled it one thing or another. My mom did more of the marketing sales side. My dad did the engineering of the software. Okay. I think they wanted to get some grant, so I think like they might have had her. They did that to get some grant from the government or something. I don't remember. But so is that crime? Yeah, I don't know. Say that on there. We might not like that.
But guess what, y'all? I'm about to drop a bomb on you, right? I'm about to drop a bomb. In a recent video, I show that when Pearl's mom and dad's company was bought out recently by an investment firm, the firm decided to make the mom the lead as president so that the company could be eligible for set-aside federal grants for women-owned businesses. Now, you want to know why the federal government has these set-aside grants for women like Pearl's mom? Because the government recognizes historical discrimination against women in the past. So they set aside grants for women-owned businesses as a form of reparations. Oh my God, you can't make this up. Oops. So here it is. Pearl's talking all this shit against women when Pearl is literally eating off federal contracts for women through her mama's business. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ebony Man 2K, the king of receipts. Let's get it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to examine the background of Hannah Pearl Davis by reviewing her official LinkedIn profile. Now, in this segment, you will see a breakdown of Pearl's work experience as well as her education background. More importantly, Pearl will start off this segment entertaining us in song, where she offers her own rendition of Drake's Hotline Bling and Lil Nas X Old Town Road. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ebony Man 2K. Let's get it.
For your patience as I get to all your song requests. Oh shit, she was taking requests. Here we go.
You should call me on my work phone.
Yes.
All day when you need a printer. Call me on my work phone. All day when you need a printer.
Yeah, these songs are all tailored to whatever business she was working in at the time.
Yeah.
She's writing this for businesses?
Whatever business she was in at the time. Yeah, all the songs are her own lyrics, like a spin on.
Yeah.
No, I know it's your own lyrics.
They're all printer related.
They're all Pearl originals.
She's got one in there called Copiers Ain't Easy. So.
Okay, how is she not a character from The Office? She's making songs about printers and papers.
We found our Angela.
Literally.
I know when that work phone rings.
Yes.
That you need to print things.
Ever
since you bought the Canon, you got paper jams left and right now.
She goes, I've been in the professional workspace and I've never been looked over before. I have a lifetime's experience. I have never had trouble getting the same pay as men.
Hey, and you much and you feel left down.
Yeah, I have a lot of experience in corporate America. This is the experience.
Literally.
Yeah, I made parody songs on LinkedIn.
Yep.
When you come to conquer you,
Kaga.
start jamming less and printing more. Easy billing, get you on the dance floor. Get rid of that rap you've never seen before. You should call me on my work phone.
Yo, that was fire.
Wow.
Okay, if you look on the screen now, you should see the intro to Pearl Davis's official LinkedIn resume profile. Now, Pearl lists herself as a content creator at YouTube from London, England, United Kingdom. I guess at the time when she first did this LinkedIn resume, she had 2,000 followers. Obviously, it has increased to over 1 million now on YouTube. She's a graduate of Elmhurst College, which is a college located outside of Chicago. It's a very liberal private college, from what I understand. And she's a graduate of Elmhurst. Again, at the time of this LinkedIn resume that she created, she had 25,000 subs on YouTube and 800,000 TikTok followers. Okay, so now let's move on to more information about Pearl Davis on her link profile. Okay, if you look on screen now, you should see a representation of the bulk of Pearl Davis's work experience. Her most recent listing of her experience is the content creator at YouTube. And before going into YouTube, obviously she was very involved in sales. She was an account executive at Konica. I think that's the biggest part of her experience. She also worked in sales and business development at HAP Systems. She was an intern at Senator Tom Cullerton's district office. She was a human resources intern at her parents' company at Davisware. But that only lasted 4 months, which surprises me. Okay. She was also an intern for 3 months at a place called Digital Marketing, Proceed Innovative LLC, and also an intern at Zumba Group. Okay, so this is the bulk of Pearl Davis's work experience. Most of it is odd and end jobs and sales at her parents' company and other small companies as well. Her biggest work experience was a year and 7 months as an account executive at Konica Minolta Business selling printers. Okay. Okay, if you look on the screen now, you should see the last page of Pearl Davis's LinkedIn profile. The last two work experience she shows is being a sales representative for Jeroman Electro Maschinen. This is a company out in Germany. Says she's assisted with helping customers find products, assisting in product repair, and shadowed a sales rep. Okay. And again, lastly, she also lists her being an assistant for her parents' company at Davisware, where she worked there for 3 months. This is in West Dundee, Illinois, which is a small town outside of Chicago. She said she worked in answering and redirecting customer calls, worked in sorting and shredding documents, and assisted in customer service. So apparently her parents put her to work back in 2014 for 3 months, working as an assistant. Now I find it odd that her parents have this software company, and the most she could ever do was be an assistant and an intern. Okay, her parents are the president and CEO of this company, and they have numerous of employees. I think close to 30 to 50 employees. And you mean to tell me, out of all this time, because I think they started a company back in the 80s, they couldn't find a major role for their daughter to play in this company, no bigger than an assistant and an intern? You see, because when I look at this resume, Pearl's biggest accomplishment was working as a printer sales rep for Konica in Milwaukee. In Milwaukee. I mean, that's like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show called The Office. There's a bunch of average people working in the paper industry in the middle of nowhere, like a small town in the Midwest. And that's what Pearl's experience kind of reminds me of. She reminds me of one of those employees on the TV show The Office. Pearl's biggest accomplishment was working as a sales rep for Konica, selling paper copiers to businesses. That's sad. That's sad when you think about it, especially when you think about the fact that her parents had this multi-million dollar software company, and they didn't think highly enough to have her play a vital role in it. Obviously, Hannah Pearl Davis is not as talented as her mother. I don't know if you saw the profile I did of her mother earlier in this presentation, but her mom and dad actually started this company back in the 80s when they were like 18, 19, 20. And it's been successful since then. And I think they make over $5 to $6 million a year revenue, 30, 40 plus employees. And they've recently been bought out by an investor for millions of dollars. So it is obviously, Hannah is not her mom. Hannah Pearl Davis is not her mom. And I think she knows that. And I think this kind of speaks to her desperation to try to be something on YouTube, because she knows that as a business person, she does not make the cut. Now, she lists her education from Amherst College. She has a Bachelor's of Business Administration in Economics. Okay? She's activities was volleyball team and a member of Athletes in Action. So I guess she's pretty good at volleyball, which is kind of obviously sports related. She has a degree in business administration, but I don't see any big time skills in running a business. But let's take it even further. You know what I've noticed? I've noticed what's not here, okay? And let me explain. Pearl wants to be this big time media personality, right? Because I think she's trying to be a big time media personality on YouTube, claim that she's having success at YouTube, and hopefully she can transfer that over to major media. Like maybe work with the Daily Wire with Ben Shapiro, or have her own television show like Candace Owens. The thing about it is, I understand she wants to do that, but she's just not talented or savvy enough to pull it off. When I look at this LinkedIn profile and resume, I don't see any reflection of journalism. I don't see no reflection of mass communications. I just see a person who does have a degree in business administration, but kind of floundered around in sales, selling printers. She really didn't amount to nothing in the business world. But now all of a sudden she wants to be on YouTube and wants to be this big media personality, the female Andrew Tate. But she don't really have the skill sets or the talent to pull it off. And the reason why I wanted to show this LinkedIn resume of Hannah Pearl Davis is to be on record, to show you that she's trying to be something she's not. Okay, you can't be in a position of being on YouTube like you're some type of media expert or personality, or that you have some type of insight on societal issues. You haven't been trained at all to do. There's nothing on your profile, Pearl, that says you've been trained to be in a position to speak on societal issues. You don't have any type of journalism background, no communication background, and that's why you look so unprofessional on YouTube during interviews and debates. You just don't have it. And this LinkedIn resume profile is proof of that. Okay, man. Let's keep it moving.
But so businesses were paying her for this? That doesn't make any sense to me.
So I guess I'm reading people requested ringtones for their companies during COVID.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
People put this as their voice
No,
message?
I don't think so.
Nah.
But she offered it.
She was getting trolled, right? Like,
there's zero shot anybody used that.
Agree. I'm so sorry.
She goes, let's see, decided to have some fun on this fine Sunday. If you got this voicemail, what would you do? So maybe she's trying to solicit her talents. So here it is, Old Time Road by Pearl.
Yeah, my name
I love
is
that she
Pearl
sings with the
from
2-digit fingers up.
Hanukkah. I'll help you save till I can no more.
Yeah.
My name is Pearl from Hanukkah. I'll help you save till I can no more. We got the printers in the back. Scanning.
Yo, I love that she's on the printer stuff.
This one kind of hits. This one.
So she's a printer salesperson.
yeah.
And so she worked her way to the top, man. The men couldn't keep up with her. I made 25 cents more per hour than my male counterpart.
Also, isn't this kind of demonic to be singing a Lil Nas X song?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, he's black. I don't know if she got that memo.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Black and gay.
Yeah. It's a problem. Although this explains everything in the sense that I don't think she's like her social awareness is something.
Yeah, I mean, she's sheltered, raised by nannies, went to private Catholic school. Yeah, I mean, those people generally are pretty weird.
Do you think if her friends saw this, it would ruin her life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what. It could come out that she's had sex with 100 dudes. This would damage her more. This is going to damage her more.
Are attached. You can't even fax.
I want to buy a
can
printer.
help you stand. No one need to read. No one
Sad.
feast. Just me with me, and you will see.
When you have 10 kids, this is what happens to the kids, man.
Right.
Because they have like 10 kids. This is what happens. You know, you don't give them any attention. You don't make them feel special, and then they end up covering Old Town Road on LinkedIn to sell printers.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have as many kids.
This is so crazy, dude. I can't believe
Not only do software solutions that
Someone says, this is fair. This feels kind of mean, somebody said. In a sense, I get that. But also, we have to consider the fact that she's a horrible person.
Right.
Like, right?
Yeah.
So we can
Definitely worth.
The new Motorola Razr Plus.
Considering.
We're good to proceed, I feel. In consideration of everything she said and who she is, I believe that we have every right to...
If you say slavery is embellished, we can make fun of your karaoke.
You're singing. Your
That's
Drake
worse.
cover.
That's a fair
Right.
trade, in my opinion.
That's worse, what she said.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's worse.
Yeah.
Yes.
That feels a little mean to me. Saying slavery was embellished.
That does feel a little mean.
Does feel a
Feels
little
very
mean.
mean.
But I think it's worth unpacking that, though. You know?
Yeah. She's being transphobic on Twitter right now, too, if that helps
great.
clear your
So-
conscience.
That's a little mean.
Yeah.
Let's watch that Drake cover.
She's freaking out right now, though.
their hands not only do ECM solutions, they do. That rendition of how Konica Minolta can help you save money was brought to you by yours truly, Pearl Davis.
Okay, so she's really trying to find something that works for her professionally, and I think this kind of explains how she fell into this grift. She really trying to find her way trying to make a living in a unorthodox way, right? She's trying to.
I don't understand why. Why doesn't she just get married and stay home, pump out kids, let a good man bring home the bread? You know what I'm saying?
100%. That is pretty odd.
Well, she already has money. She wants attention, and this looks like her first shot at it. And then we got into the grift.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Pearl from Conica. I'll help you say till I can't no more. My name is Pearl from Conica. I'll help you
My name
say
is Pearl.
till I can't no more. We got the printers in the back, scanners are attached. You can't even fax, I can help you stat. No more meter reads, no more hidden fees. Just me with me, and you will see.
This is kind of gorgeous.
That's not all we do. Software solutions that do. That's not all we do. ECM solutions that do. That rendition of how Content can help you save.
That was fire.
was the
Yo, sell me a printer. Sign me up.
No homo.
I want the printer, I want the scanner, and I want the software solutions.
Today I will address the controversial YouTuber Hannah Pearl Davis, aka Just Pearly Things, who has recently come under scrutiny for the mishandling of an invited racist guest named Nick Fuentes on her YouTube show. Her lack of pushback on this Holocaust and slavery denier raised eyebrows across YouTube, especially when you consider other questionable racist behavior of Pearl in the past. Now, before I begin, let me send a shout out to some of my fellow YouTubers who have been investigating this story and holding Pearl accountable for her actions. Those YouTubers include Mike TV, Oshay Duke Jackson, and the YouTube duo Trigonometry. Now make sure you visit their YouTube channels and subscribe. Now, in full disclosure, I am also a part-time YouTuber investigating this Pearly situation by request of my followers. I have work experience at a top-tier global management consulting firm with Fortune 500 companies. So, producing investigative presentations like the one I'm doing on Hannah Pearl Davis is par for the course. Now, if you look to the right of the screen, you should see a list of the important claims made about the YouTuber Just Pearly Things. And I will read the list as follows. Number 1, Pearl's rise in YouTube came on the heels of the death of former YouTuber Kevin Samuels. Pearl currently fills the vacuum as the white girl version of Kevin. Number 2, in a recent interview, Pearl did not make an attempt to push back on comments made by Holocaust and slavery denier Nick Fuentes. Number 3, Pearl purposely employs colonizing tactics in working contracts with blacks on her staff, after first pretending to be unaware of the history of colonization. Number 4, Pearl's new management also represents conservative activist Candace Owens, and Pearl is working collaboratively with the alt-right, pushing their talking points and agenda on her platform. Now I will show detailed receipts of all 4 claims in this presentation. As I mentioned before, I am the original king of receipts, with over 5 years of experience in investigative work on YouTube for shits and giggles, and over 20 years of work experience in corporate America. In this presentation, I have provided graphs to show Pearl's monthly views and monthly subs added for the past year. You will also see video clips of Pearl being interviewed about her background and then confronted about the way she handled her interview with the racist Nick Fuentes. You will also see video clips of a black member of her staff explaining how he and other blacks are being taken advantage of in working contracts with Pearl. And lastly, I will provide a detailed overview of Pearl's management team, that will include resumes, profile summaries, books, articles, and interviews that clearly illustrate an obvious collaborative effort to push an agenda and talking points of the conservative right through the YouTuber Just Pearly Things. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, this is EB2K. Let's get it. Now, make sure you stay to the last part of this presentation about her management team, because the truth is shocking. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Okay, we're going to start this off with graphs that show Pearl's monthly views and monthly subs added from April of last year to present day. Pearl currently has 1.4 million subs and approximately 2.6 million views per day. As I mentioned earlier, Pearl's rise in YouTube came on the heels of the death of former YouTuber Kevin Samuels. Now, it has been noted by many in the Black manosphere that Pearl currently fills the vacuum as the white girl version of Kevin. Now, Kevin Samuels died in May of 2022. The graphs above show the uptick in activity of Just Pearly Things YouTube channel soon after his death. Okay, in this first clip, you will hear an interview of Pearl by the YouTube duo Trigonometry. These two gentlemen do a fantastic job of asking the right questions and holding Pearl accountable for not pushing back on comments made by Holocaust and slavery denier Nick Fuentes on her recent show. Now, let's see how Pearl responds to these two interviewers.
Brilliant guest today is a fellow YouTuber who started her show a year ago and is now on over 1 million subscribers. Pearl Davis, aka Just Pearly Things. Welcome to Trigonometry.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's awesome. Thanks so much for coming. It's great to have you on. As I just bigged you up, you've absolutely smashed it. Before we get into all of that, tell everybody, who are you? How are you where you are? What's been the journey through life that leads you to be sitting here talking to us?
So, my name's Pearl. I'm a YouTuber. I'm from Chicago. I live in London and I do a YouTube show here.
That was quick.
Yeah.
How did you decide to start it? How did you have the idea? You could tell everybody what the show is, because a lot of people wouldn't have seen it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
So we talk about a lot of men's issues. So I feel like most media today is catered towards women, pandering towards women. We don't do that on my channel.
You don't pander to women?
No, we're not about that. And
you pander to men?
Not pander. Look it. I say things that are true.
Okay.
I say things that are like basic to me, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But
like what?
You shouldn't get super fat after you get married just because you got a ring. I mean, I feel like that's basic. Women in the 1950s knew that. But today, I'm a bully. I'm the meanest person ever. Blah blah. So yeah, that's what I do. Is we talk about relationships on my show, and so we bring in men and women to talk about different relationship topics, and then we go back and forth.
Yeah.
And then I also work a lot with the court system here. I'm doing a documentary on men getting custody of their kids.
Interesting. Yeah. But
Okay, hold up. Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Hannah Pearl just lied. She just lied, y'all. In her introduction about herself and background, she claimed that she was from Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois. Now I want you to take a good look at Hannah Pearl on screen right now. Does she look like she is from some hot city chick with a cosmopolitan vibe and look from Chicago? Look at her right now. Does she look like city folk or country folk? Well, she's country folk. Hannah Pearl Davis is not from Chicago, Illinois. Let me show you where she's from. If you look on screen now, you will see the high school volleyball profile of Hannah Pearl Davis. Pearl was a middle hitter her senior year at Marion Central Catholic High School, located in Huntley, Illinois. Hannah Pearl Davis is from a small town in Illinois called Huntley, which is an hour or so drive from Chicago. Huntley, Illinois ain't got shit to do with Chicago, Illinois. Those are two different worlds. As I spoke before, Hannah Pearl Davis doesn't even look like somebody from Chicago. She has no swag, she's pasty, and she does not have a city girl look to her. She has a country girl look to her. And the reason why she has a country girl look to her is because she's from the country. Hannah Pearl Davis is from Huntley, Illinois, not Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah. But one of the things you did with your show, and I don't know if you were one of the first ones, but it's definitely a format that's really skyrocketed. I can't open my Twitter now without, 8 people sitting around the table having some discussion. Often they don't know what they're talking about. But it's a format of bringing kind of random people together, partly random.
Oh, very random.
Very random.
Very random, yeah.
And you also have famous people, and we'll talk about that as well. But did you come up with that? Was that something that you saw other people doing?
No, I would say Fresh and Fit in Miami were probably the first ones to do that. So I went on their show. And what I liked about London is it was one of the most diverse places I've ever lived. Yeah. So I just thought it'd be cool to bring everyone in a room and talk about something that we all have in common, which is relationships.
That's very interesting. And so, but why do you pick the subjects that you do? Why are you drawn to the subjects that you discuss? Because they are controversial, they can get you into hot water, etc.
I follow what interests me, and I just thought those subjects were interesting. It wasn't. A lot of people think it's a lot more drawn out. Every week I'm just oh, that's an interesting topic, and we go for it. I would say it's a mix of relationships. Sometimes we add in some conservative stuff, but it's mostly about relationships.
And why does that interest you, Paul? In particular, do you feel that relationships are in crisis now? Or we don't value relationships, or we look at relationships in the wrong way? I just think men aren't
allowed to have standards in society. And that's just the one thing I noticed. Whenever men say that they want something in a relationship, women always shame them for it. And I just thought it was so interesting how we never talk about the men's point of view. So when I first started, I started introducing my friends to certain types of content. So I would be well, have you ever thought about this way, or have you ever thought about that way? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, that's kind of how it started.
Right. So men are shamed for having standards. What do you mean by that? Let's just unpick that a little bit.
Okay. So what do we have? We have fat shaming.
Mm-hmm.
If a guy says, I want a girl in shape, oh, he's fat shaming. Oh, if a guy says, I don't want the town whore, then he's slut shaming. If he says, I don't want to, it's anytime a guy demands something out of a relationship, or he's labeled as controlling. And I just got, oh my gosh, I got so tired in the past year. I got so tired. Because I just feel we would talk about basic things, and the men would say basic things that they wanted, and they would just continue to be shamed for it. And it's just one of those things, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
So what are the basic things? And look, a lot of people have said you use, let's put it, fruity language, as they would say in the 1950s in England, like the town whore.
Oh yeah.
You should have said the city whore.
The city whore. But,
yeah.
But so, what do you mean by that?
I think we know what you mean by that.
Whore?
Yeah. No. But let's talk. What does that mean? Because
sleeping. Okay, I met one girl. She told me this was off camera. She didn't tell me this on camera. Girl, because we had a pro-life show. Girls had 7 abortions.
Wow.
7. She's 28. It's madness. You can't tell me that's not madness.
Right.
And so we're just in this world where it's girls are doing this crazy, crazy stuff. And if anyone has anything to say about it, we're the bad guys. It's just don't put me in that group.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, because I think a lot of people, including a lot of women, would be you've had 7 abortions. I mean, even if you're pro-choice, you'd sort of not be on board with that. Most people.
You would be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Well, you think a lot of people are on board with that?
Maybe not on board, but like legally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So here it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And do you think that these particular women don't take responsibility for their actions? Do you think it's society?
Why would it's like we live in a world where women are bailed out of every single bad decision we make. If we want to sleep around, there's birth control. If birth control doesn't work, there's abortion. If the girl does get pregnant and wants to keep it, she can put the dude on child support and not let him see the kids. Like a guy gets 6 days a month, maybe if he's lucky. On top of that, if that doesn't go well, they can give it up for adoption. It's like women are always bailed out of every bad decision we make. I heard here they gave you free housing if you're a single mother. What incentive do we have to make good decisions if we get free shit from the government for making bad decisions?
It's a good point, but then surely isn't the system at fault rather than the individual per?
Why?
Both. I mean, I think the system's at fault for like allowing them to do that, but I mean, I think your life is your own fault.
Yeah.
So if you can't tell me a girl had 7 abortions, that's not her fault.
No.
Like, come on.
I agree. That's why I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Francis always likes to blame the system because he's an old school lefty.
Yeah.
Everything's about the system.
No, I mean, I would say it's okay. There's good people and bad people, but if you have a system that allows bad people to get away with the bad things that they do, then of course, the system's at fault too. However, like your own life is your own fault. So I kind of see both sides when it comes to that.
Yeah, and are these your politics that inform your worldview? Do you have a political outlook on life?
I would say I'm like more conservative, but like no, it's just what I see in front of me. Like, to be honest.
You're not that's the sense I get from you. You're not ideological. You just go, that's stupid, that doesn't work, etc. Right? That's my take on it. That's my sense of you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something else there. No.
So, that being the case, we can all agree that America is right-leaning, more right-leaning than the UK.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a diehard politics person.
But yeah, I think that's a pretty standard viewpoint. So
Right.
so why the UK then, Paul, as opposed to America?
Oh, I'll tell you why. So I didn't mean to end up here. Yeah, I didn't mean to. It was like an accident. So I, before YouTube, was playing semi-pro, or I was playing, no, sorry, I need to start over. So when I got out of college, I was selling copiers. And I decided that I wanted to play volleyball overseas. I was going to try to get a pro contract. And I was recruited to play volleyball here. So it was a year program to get my master's. And at the end of the year, you hypothetically get a pro contract, which I did with the YouTube stuff. So I kind of I started the show when I got here, and I didn't expect it to get huge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So then I kind of just got stuck here because I was like, I'd have to move my producer, and it was just, I mean, you know how it is if you guys wanted to move this whole operation, what a headache it would be.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, imagine. So I'd have to, I'm the voltage converters. So I kind of accidentally ended up here, but I am gonna leave eventually.
Are you?
Yeah.
I can see why. I don't think your opinions are that widely shared in this country.
No, they love me here.
Listen, there's something else. I think it's been we call the show trigonometry.
Yeah.
But even by our standards, this has been pretty triggering for a lot of people. However, there's something even more triggering that I do have to ask you about, because in between the time that we booked you to come on the show and you actually coming on the show, you had a guy called Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah. And then you did an interview with this guy. This is not a guy we would ever have on because he's a racist, Holocaust denying piece of shit as far as I'm concerned. But you had him on, and then you took that interview down and apologized. So what happened with that whole thing?
Oh, I can't talk too much. There's legal things going on.
There's legal things going on.
Yeah, there's not with Nick, but just but there's I have a video coming out about that whole thing. So
You do?
You guys have to wait for the video. But I will say I did not find Nick to be racist. My staff actually did not find him to be racist.
Wait, he was talking to an Italian girl next to you and saying that she shouldn't have a black boyfriend or something along those lines.
He doesn't believe in. See, I don't really want to go into like the race mixing stuff too much.
No, but you just said he wasn't being racist, and I watched him be racist on your show.
Well, I mean, to me, he says the same things that like there's a lot of people that think like that. But
it doesn't make it less racist just because other people think it.
You could say that, but to me, it's like, how do I put it? His argument is more about culture. It's easier if you date someone in your culture. You'd have to watch the full thing, but was like being a bit like combative to him. And to me, he was just like kidding. But yeah,
He did say, I am a bit racist, even in that. And in fact, in your apology, you said that he said racist things.
Well, there's a video coming out about all of that, but you'll see. It's coming out.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking you is because it's kind of like a big deal that you had this guy on. Do you see what I'm saying? He is incredibly toxic.
I'm just telling you my personal experience with him. We filmed hours and hours and hours of footage with him. There was that one to me, if you watch the full clip, it puts it in a little bit of context. Yeah. But he was really polite. He showed up on time. Like we just. Yeah.
He also.
And honestly, he did a panel, and he spoke about his opinions on race mixing, and a lot of people agreed with him.
Okay, but that doesn't change whether it's racist or not, right? But what I'm getting
Do you think it's racist to like, because I'm curious. Yeah. Do you think it's racist like if I'm Irish and I say I want to date someone that's Irish? Do you think that's racist?
No, but if I say to you, you're Irish, therefore you shouldn't date a black man, that is racist, yeah.
If you're Irish and... Because when he spoke about it on the show, it was more about culture than race.
But to me, that doesn't really work as an argument, Paul, so I'll give you an example. I'm half Latin American. I take after my dad's Irish side. If I date a Jamaican woman, Jamaica and Venezuela have a very similar culture. We're culturally very similar. We have the same food, the same religion, whatever else. So to me, that argument doesn't work. Do you see what I'm saying?
Wait, Venezuela and what?
And Jamaica. So Venezuela's at the top of South America, and Jamaica is all Trinidad, which is literally, you see it over the water.
Yeah, well, it's just, when he was talking about how he wanted to date an Italian woman. Like, versus, like, he even said he wouldn't want to date a British girl, he'd want to date an Italian woman. So it's like, how is he a white supremacist?
No, he's allowed to date who he wants, but him telling your Italian friend she shouldn't be dating a black man, that's the racist part, don't you think?
I have to remember what he said in the clip, but maybe, maybe.
Okay, so that's why I'm asking you, because you do have controversial guests, as we do, and there's nothing wrong with talking to people who are controversial, but Nick Fuentes is a very different kettle of fish, as we say here, right?
Yeah, my opinion is that he was polite overall. He was a good guest.
He was also denying the Holocaust, from what I remember.
Look, I'm not with that. Keep me out of that one. I'm not with the race. Like, that's not my thing. But I just think people are allowed to have their opinions. So if he has crazy opinions, let him have his opinions. And I think he should be allowed to talk about it on a podcast.
But isn't it also the duty, Pearl, of the person interviewing them to push back on those opinions when they come up and actually challenge them and investigate them and to basically push back on it?
Yeah, I mean, we could do another show where we push back more. It's not the end-all, be-all.
But surely isn't that the risk? Isn't that?
I wanted to do like one with Dr. Umar, but he didn't want to come. Sad.
Who's Dr. I don't know who that is.
Dr. Umar has like the same opinions as Nick. Like, he doesn't believe in race mixing too. He's just black.
Yeah.
It's like a common. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some people who believe that, sure.
Yeah.
But you know, when you were talking about the Holocaust with him, he was saying it's like slavery, it got embellished, and you were sort of going, I can see your point. And that's what I found a bit confusing, because then in your apology you said, well, I wasn't really educated on these things. But it sounds like you're kind of taking that back now.
There's a statement coming out on everything, so you guys just have to wait for it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
From our perspective, we're kind of saying to you what we thought you might have said to him, which is, if a guest says or does something controversial, you kind of want to ask and find out why they've done that. And we have to make, by the way, if this is coming across as confrontational, that's not the intention at all, because whenever I see a guest not be challenged enough on someone's show, I often think there, but by the grace of God go I, because we've had people on the show who've said controversial things, and I've sort of missed the moment. And I kind of didn't challenge them enough, and I felt bad about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, because you're not a political person, you might not. There was a guy called Darren Grimes who had a guy called Dr. David Starkey on, and he said something about how, of course, slavery wasn't genocide, otherwise there wouldn't be so many damn blacks in the West, right? And that got picked up by all the media, and they all had to go at him. And I just saw a fairly young, inexperienced interviewer in Darren failed to challenge someone who he looked up to and respected on what was just a bad phrasing more than anything, right? So I totally understand why you may have missed something or not have jumped in on something that you maybe felt that you should have jumped in on. But the reason that Francis and I would never have Nick Fuentes on is precisely because he says all that shit all the time. So if you were to actually challenge him on some of his abhorrent views, you'd spend the entire 3 hours doing that.
Did you watch the full video?
I watched some of it, not the full video. Yeah.
Okay. I did challenge him at points of it.
Okay, well, tell us about that.
Tell us.
I mean, we had a whole panel on race mixing.
Yeah.
And like we had that was why he came out. Like the political stuff was just because he was there. Like, so I did a one-on-one as like the reason I brought him on was I saw him on No Jumper, like talking about race mixing. And I've heard that point of view, but it's usually like not, people look different that have that point of view usually. So like I've heard it, but I've just never heard it like that, I guess. So we just brought him on a panel just like about race mixing, and they did a whole panel on it.
But then he was denying the Holocaust.
You know, that was crazy. That was.
But that's what he does. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, but we brought him on to talk about race mixing. That's what we brought him on, because it's a relationship show, and then we just interviewed him because he was there.
But there will be people, Pearl, who will say, well, if you're going to bring that person on, and look, again, this isn't to, misrepresent or do any of those types of things. The reason we have this show is so we can talk and have honest conversations, because part of this is for me to clarify my thinking about different issues. That's why we do the show. But part of it is also when you bring someone on, you can't also ignore that element of it. Do you see what I mean?
I just don't know what you mean by ignore.
No, because if you're not addressing the fact that he's a Holocaust denier, then you're ignoring that. Do you see what I mean?
I mean, I don't agree that the Holocaust didn't happen.
Yeah, no,
that's reassuring.
I mean, I was just listening to him. Yeah. And I think you're allowed to listen to people that you might not agree with. And I think as women, we're more agreeable than men. So a lot of times you might take it as me agreeing. But no, I didn't.
Well, you did say, so it's kind of like slavery, it's been embellished.
I was talking about how people use atrocities to control people. And I was quoting Thomas Sowell, who's a black author. Who
I'm
said the same
I'm
thing.
a big fan of Thomas Sowell.
Yeah, so I was quoting Thomas Sowell and speaking about his ideas if people watch the full interview.
Yeah.
And I said that in the interview.
Yeah.
And I was talking about how people use an atrocity to control people.
Yeah. So, but you don't think that's what happened with the Holocaust?
It sounded like it based on what he was saying, but
he's a well-known Holocaust denier. Of course, it would sound like that.
That's where I was feeling.
Sorry,
let me finish. At the time, that's what I was talking about. It sounded like some of Thomas Sowell's ideas, but do I think that the Holocaust didn't happen? No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I guess what do you think your responsibility is when you bring on controversial guests onto the show? Do you have any responsibility? What do you believe?
For the guests?
No, not for the guests. For the content that you put out, Pearl.
Yeah, I'm responsible for all the content I put out.
You're responsible for all the content that you put out. And do you now look at that and think you shouldn't have done that? You made a mistake. You made an error.
I don't regret having someone controversial on. If I had to do it again, I would have maybe had someone on the opposite end of the argument that could push back. But how I probably would have did it if I had to do it again, one full interview with both of them, let them talk, let them say what they're going to say, and then bring them together.
So who would you have on the other side? So you'd have
Dr. Umar.
but those are two people who share the same viewpoint. It's just one happens to be white, one happens to be black. That's not That's playing on. Do you see that's kind of identity
Well,
politics?
yeah, but then we did a whole panel with people that disagreed with him, so we did do that.
Okay, now you heard Gina Florio Bontempo express in that interview her conversion back to conservative ideology. You also heard her mention her relationship with Candace Owens and her references to other conservative sources like the Daily Wire. But it doesn't stop there. If you look on screen, you should see a post that I've added from her IG on June 27, 2020, and it reads as follows. Gina says, I just got a surge of new followers and I'm not sure why, but I'm happy to have you all here. And then she says a little about me. My day job, I managed Candace Owens and worked with Pierre Wilson on all things Blexit. We have 11 chapters across the country and 5 national events coming up, so join us. Now, if you look to the right of the page, you can see that she mentioned Pierre Wilson with Blexit, and you can see that Pierre Wilson is a major player in the Blexit movement, right? Now, for those of you who are not aware of Blexit, it is a name for Black Exit, okay? Black Exit. That's how they came with the word Blexit. And that is Black Exit from the Democratic Party. So Pierre Wilson as well as Gloria are both activists in trying to influence Black people to move from the Democratic Party, from the left, through a major organization or movement called Blexit, okay? Now, on their website, the definition of Blexit reads as follows. Blexit is the movement to drive traditional American principles into urban communities across the United States of America, to promote economic independence, individual freedom, strengthen the nuclear family, and foster a deeper appreciation for patriotism in Black American culture. We focus on shifting the culture as well as educating and uplifting minority America through educational programs and acts of community service, okay? So that's a very nice way of saying that they're trying to get Black people away from the left to the right, basically. So when you see Pearl come out of nowhere into Black spaces on YouTube, it is plausible that her manager's connections to major conservative sources on the radical right, like Candace Owens, the Daily Wire, and Blexit, can easily serve as an influence on Pearl's topics, talking points, and guests, like Nick Fuentes. Okay, now that I've introduced you to one of Pearl's advisors, Gina, let me now introduce you to her manager, Kobe DeVito. Kobe plays a more active role in Just Pearly Things YouTube platform. If you look on the screen now, you can see where he sends out retweets of Pearl's postings on Twitter. Here, he retweets about episodes of Pearl's wife's school show and her announcements about recruiting talent and interesting guests for Pearl to interview on her show. Now, if you look on screen right now, you should see a copy of the resume of Kobe DeVito. Kobe holds a bachelor's degree from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Now, he lists content creator at YouTube as his current position, but primarily his work or his real job of the past year since July of 2019 has been with the publication The Daily Wire. He has had multiple roles at The Daily Wire as YouTube manager, social media video manager, and director of social video. But I'm raising an eyebrow because it seems like his only real job in his career has been with one employer, one publication, The Daily Wire. So let's move forward and investigate his involvement with The Daily Wire and see what the background of this publication is really about. If you look on screen now, you should see a description of the Daily Wire, with the source being Wikipedia. I will read that description as follows. The Daily Wire is an American conservative news website and media company founded in 2015 by political commentator Ben Shapiro and film director Jeremy Boring. The company is a major publisher on Facebook and produces podcasts such as The Ben Shapiro Show. In June 2022, the Daily Wire launched Daily Wire Plus, a video-on-demand platform featuring various Daily Wire content, including podcasts and video productions. The company has released multiple exclusive feature-length films and television series. The Daily Wire is based in Nashville, Tennessee. Many Daily Wire stories repackage journalism from traditional news organizations while adding a conservative slant. Fact checkers have said that some stories shared by the Daily Wire are unverified, and that the Daily Wire sometimes mistakes facts to advance a partisan view. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Now we cooking with hot grease, y'all. We cooking with hot grease. Do you see that last paragraph? Do you see it? Listen, let me read it to you again, just in case you missed it. It says, many Daily Wire stories repackage journalism from traditional news organizations while adding a conservative slant. Fact checkers have said that some stories shared by the Daily Wire are unverified and that the Daily Wire sometimes mistakes facts to advance a partisan view, y'all. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So listen, so now we can understand where Just Pearly Things gets all of her bullshit rhetoric from. There are many times on her shows where Pearl purposely misrepresents historical facts so badly that it leaves her viewers wondering, what the fuck is she talking about? In these cases, Pearl is obviously trying to push an underlining agenda, and I highly suspect that these bullshit talking points are coming from characters from the radical right, like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, through her handlers Kobe DeVito and Gino Bontempo. Now, let's keep moving by exploring the background of the creator of the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro. And let's see how his ideologies may be affecting the YouTube platform of Just Pearly Things. If you look on the screen now, you should see a profile summary of Ben Shapiro. That summary reads as follows. In 2016, Shapiro described himself as basically a libertarian. In 2021, he described himself as generally libertarian in regards to the role of the government and as a conservative in regards to the role of social structures. The New Yorker, HATERZ, and Vox have described Shapiro as right-wing. Shapiro's views have been described by the New York Times as extremely conservative and was described by The Economist as a radical conservative and as a classically religious conservative. A 2020 study examining issue framing by right-wing podcasts used the Ben Shapiro Show as an example, which offered a mainstream conservative perspective that favors President Donald Trump and his framing on issues like nationalism in a 2x2 matrix that also examined a Stormfront podcast, an alt-right podcast, and the Daily Standard podcast. The study showed that Shapiro's rhetoric was similar to that used in the Stormfront podcast, though with a different tone. Shapiro accuses the political left of believing in an imaginary hierarchy of victimhood in which the opinions of members of persecuted groups like the LGBT community are afforded more credence. He has argued that the left has dominated American culture through popular entertainment, media, and academia in a way that has made conservatives feel disenfranchised and helped lead to the election of Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election. He has stated that political correctness breeds insanity. Shapiro is an outspoken opponent of safe spaces, especially those on college campuses, arguing that they go against free speech. Shapiro frequently praises Western culture and Western civilization. In 2019, he said, "I believe Western civilization is superior to other civilizations." Now, these are some of his views on race. He has acknowledged that African Americans were historically victims of injustice in the United States, but does not believe in the existence of widespread systematic injustice today. In 2017, Shapiro stated that the idea that Black people in the United States are disproportionately poor because America is racist, that's just not true. Shapiro has dismissed the idea that the United States was founded on slavery and argued that America was founded in spite of slavery. Shapiro is critical of Black Lives Matter and has argued that the Black Lives Matter movement did indeed begin with protests about police brutality, but quickly morphed into broader debates over the validity of looting and rioting, tearing down historic statues, slavery reparations, and defunding the police. So you can see how Ben Shapiro's ideologies, especially those on race, can affect other YouTubers like Pearl through members of his media empire. Remember, Kobe DeVito and Gino Bontempo are not only managers, but they are also conservative journalists with years of experience in media production, which means that they are experts in creating and producing entertaining stories and narratives that have conservative slants. Kobe and Gina are both college graduates. Gina is a graduate of Harvard. Unfortunately, Pearl is not as savvy or as intelligent as her counterparts, so her delivery of their crafted talking points tend to come across as awkward and not well thought out when she speaks on them on her YouTube platform. Now, let's go ahead and move forward on what I think will happen next, now that I have officially called out Hannah Pearl Davis, aka Just Pearly Things. Now that I've presented my findings about Hannah Pearl Davis and her management team, I'm sure there will be pushback from Pearl and her naysayers. If you look on the screen now, I have made a list of her anticipated responses with my replies to those responses. I imagine the conversation with Pearl would go a little something like this. Pearl, don't pay attention to Ebony Man 2K. He is just a small YouTuber. Ebony Man, regardless if I have 1 sub, 1,000 subs, or 1 million, I am thorough in my presentation with credible receipts. Any attempt to belittle my efforts will serve as a form of distraction. Pearl, claiming to be from Chicago when I'm not, it's really not that big of a deal. Ebony Man, Chicago is a world-renowned city with international recognition. So for you to try to claim to be from Chicago when you are not is a lame attempt to steal swag that you don't have. Pearl, just because my management is part of the conservative right doesn't mean that I am. Duh. Ebony Man, this is true, but it is plausible that your manager's connections to conservative sources on the radical right can easily serve as an influence on your topics, talking points, and choice of guests. Pearl, I don't know Ben Shapiro, never met Ben Shapiro. So why are you trying to tie me to Ben Shapiro? Ebony Man. Just because you don't personally know Ben Shapiro doesn't mean you're not heavily influenced by his ideology through your handlers, Kobe and Gina. For instance, your thoughts on abortion are almost identical to Ben Shapiro's. Today I will be exposing Just Pearly Things and her partner in crime, Blessings. It seems that the both of the two have created this silly scheme of trying to trick YouTube and their viewers with bogus views. Have you noticed Pearl's consistent emphasis on her number of subs? She touts her 1 million plus sub count as some form of standalone achievement. But here's the problem. Most savvy YouTubers know that using sub counts as a viable measuring stick of YouTube success is just not credible. The advertisers of YouTube and AdSense pay for views. They do not pay for sub counts. So Pearl and Blessings look foolish trying to sell this, hey, look at my million plus subs propaganda. The sad part about it all is that Pearl and Blessings know that they are coming up short on views. They have 1.5 million subs, but can only attract less than 10,000 views per video or short. So to make up for this huge shortcoming, Pearl's producer's Blessings takes her content and makes hundreds of short bullshit clips. I've actually counted the number of uploads in a day, and it ranges from 30 to 40 uploads a day. If you look on the screen now, I show an example of the number of shorts that were uploaded in one day. Now that's called flooding the YouTube algorithm, and it looks pathetic and desperate on the part of Pearl and Blessings. Now Blessings should be ashamed of himself in regards to the fact that his only real talent is knowing how to take a pile of shit content and create shit appetizers. His ability to make hundreds of itty-bitty videos is the only reason he is the only African left on Pearl's staff. In this video, we will take a look at comments made about Pearl by some of her viewers. And lastly, I will present a previous example of how Pearl's flex of sub counts had very little influence in a real-life situation where she failed at promoting one of her colleagues. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is EB2K, the king of receipts. Let's get it. These missteps by Pearl that seem to have an obvious racist pattern to them have raised the eyebrows of her former viewers and fellow YouTubers in a negative way. If you look on the screen now, you can see graphs that show an obvious dip in Pearl's YouTube activity in views and new subs for the month of April and May. Pearl's average monthly views and average new subs gain have gone down by half since March of this year. That's less than 3 months.
Okay, if you look on screen now, you should see another graph provided by the resource socialblade.com. Now, we just saw some graphs on Just Pearly Things. This is a graph of the YouTube activity of one of her talents, Auntie Jenny. I'm showing this graph because I wanted to point out something that should be noted. And I have noted on the screen that Auntie Jenny's new subs per month jumped from 1,620 in December of 2022 to 18,300 in January of 2023. It's just 1 month. So I'm kind of raising my eyebrow at that much of a jump in the number of new subs from 1,600 to 18,000 just in 1 month, starting around the beginning of 2023. And obviously, this jump in subs was done after the acquisition of Auntie Jenny's YouTube channel by JPT, Just Pearly Things Networks. Okay. Now, mind you, these are fake bots more than likely that was added to her channel. And this is exchanged for 70, up to 70 to 80% of Aunt Jenny's revenue from just Pearly Things. Now, remind you, this is a 70% cut after the YouTube cut, right? So let me kind of walk you through the numbers, if you will. For every $100 that Aunt Jenny generated in YouTube, first of all, YouTube would have gotten a cut of like 60 to 70% off the top. Then after YouTube's cut, Pearl came in and got her 70% of the remaining balance. Okay? So just to give you an idea of the numbers that we're working with here, for every $100 that Auntie Jenny generated with YouTube on her views and advertisement, she was probably left with maybe $10 or so. And that's after YouTube's cut, and that's after Pearl, under her JPT Networks, took her cut out as well. And this is exchanged for some bullshit ass 18,000 bots that she got for 1 month. Okay? So Auntie Jenny basically sold her soul for 18,000 bots, a bag of potato chips, and bubble gum. Okay? All right, let's move forward. Well, all right, if you look on the screen now, you should see another graph provided by socialblade.com, but this is on the YouTuber King Riches, another one of Just Pearly Things talent that she signed her 360 deal with. And once again, I'm raising an eyebrow, okay? It should be noted that King Riches' new subs per month jumped from 0 in May of 2021 to 19,600 in June of 2021. So in 1 month after being acquired by JPT Networks, his new subs per month went from 0 to damn near 20,000. And here's the gag. When it went from 0 to 20,000 in June, it went right back down to 0 in July. So I highly suspect, again, just like in the Auntie Jenny situation, she was acquired, and all of a sudden that first month, her number of subs went up and then went right back down. And in the same manner, King Riches got acquired by Just Pearly Things Networks. He also got around 20,000 subs that first month, and then went right back down to 0, which makes me think that Just Pearly Things was running a hustle on King Riches and Auntie Jenny. Okay? Pearl gave them some bullshit ass fake subs for 1 month in exchange for 70% of the revenue after YouTube's cut. Okay? So just in the same manner in which Aunt Jenny sold her soul for pittance, so did King Riches. All right, King Riches sold his soul for 20,000 bots, a bag of potato chips, and bubble gum. Okay? Bubble gum. All right, let's keep it moving.
The gag of all this is that ironically, Just Pearly Things considers herself to be successful when she is not. Pearl prides herself in touting the number of subs she has gained, when most experienced YouTubers know that using the number of subs as a gauge of YouTube performance is really a misnomer. For instance, Just Pearly Things has 1.5 million YouTube subs, but she fails to bring in less than 10,000 views per video. Now listen, that's pathetic. In this presentation, I will also show you a real live example of how Just Pearly Things tout of using her number of subs to help one of her colleagues to get new subs had very little to no value at all in the real world. In essence, it seems like Just Pearly Things is kind of living in La La Land, if you will. Her dad got her that apartment in London that was also used to operate her YouTube platform. Her dad is now giving her his whole office outside of Chicago, where she can now operate her YouTube channel here in the United States. Today, I will be reacting to a recent live by the YouTuber Just Pearly Things. This past week, Pearl decided that she would help promote the YouTube channel of one of her underlings, Amari. The goal was to entice viewers to sub to his channel to reach a goal of 1,000 new subs, so that he could qualify for monetization for YouTube. Now, the weird part about this live is that Pearl and Amari decided to hold the audience hostage and not speak on the show's topic until they reached their goal of 1,000 new subs. Listen, man, this was a straight up shit show. A straight shit show. Pearl and Amari first start the show off laughing and grinning about this stupid ass stunt and threatening viewers that they will stall the show until they sub to this dude's YouTube channel and reach 1,000 subs. Now listen, Pearl's attitude was extremely condescending and off-putting, especially with her expressing this notion of how successful she is. I, of course, questioned that notion and wonder, how does she define success? If you look on the screen now, you will see a photo of her during the live stream where she's coming to the realization that she will not reach 1,000 new subs for Amari, and this stunt failed miserably. Now, that does not reflect success to me. I don't know about you. It seems to me Pearl can talk the talk, but she cannot walk the walk. Also, if you notice in the pic above, I named her the White Tasha K. Now, the reason I named her the White Tasha K is because both Tasha and Pearl are known habitual liars, and they are both delusional. They share the same number of subs at 1 million, but they both can only produce views per video in the thousands. Now, this proves that the boasting of sub counts is an inflated and irrelevant stat. The game of YouTube is about views, not subs. YouTube monetization is based on video views. That's why this stunt on inflating subs for Amari made no sense at all if he doesn't have the views to go with it. Now, in this video, I will first let you listen to Pearl's cringe intro to her live. Then I will follow up with photos that show the slow progression of failure in her 6-hour live of begging for subs.
What up, guys? Welcome to the What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel. Welcome, Amiri, to the channel. Wait, first piece someone got. I heard you got fired. That's what they said. Yeah. The fake news media, right? The fake news. I'm fired, bro. Yeah, a lot of fired by all the fake news media reaction outlets are reporting. Now we have beef now, apparently, right? Now. That's why I'm military. Now, guys. All right. So today, I need to get Amiri monetized. All right. So if you want us to react to Abba and Preach, I need you guys to go subscribe to Amiri's channel. We'll sit here all night. Well, you got time? I got time. I got time today. But what I want to talk about is how certain reaction channels, I won't name names, right? We won't name names, but they don't care about the truth. Nope. They don't care about what's right and what's wrong. They have their certain lens on how they see the world. They have their certain ideology, and they got no point. They just like to argue. Yep. What do you think? They're fake news, man. Do I look cute in this? You're looking swell. Swell looking. Good for some smoke. Yeah. Let me. All right. So make sure you guys go subscribe. I'm gonna pull this up on my phone. Blessing. It'd be nice if one of these days we could get like the chat on the screen. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh. Oh, wait. Oh, I see. We can't. Where? Oh. Oh, wow. Wow, we're so good at YouTube. All right, guys. Can you throw these away? Yeah, man. Can we do a vault? Or can I get a water, too? What's the Pearly team saying, man? Yeah, so... W, 140 viewers. Guys, make sure you go subscribe to Amiri's channel. Our new talent, right? We're very selective in who we pick for these amazing contracts. Reported by fake news networks with no evidence or proof. But we're very selective who we pick. And Amiri has been one of our stars on the show for months now. He was on one of our most viewed episodes. And we always want to give back to the people that help us out. He's also one of our top recruiters. And he's a big supporter of the network. So we want to get him to 1,000 subscribers. And then we'll react to all of the fake news. All of the fake news that has been going on 270 people in here. Now, guys, remember, we're not going to start until Amiri gets to 1,000 subscribers. Now, I know this might be petty, but he's at 197 subscribers. So the ad is in the description. The ad's in the title. The Fresh Prince of Zamunda. I don't even know what that means. But we give our talents creative freedom here, you know, right? Do I not?
Zamunda.
Zamunda.
I'm gonna make her.
Zamunda.
I'm gonna make her so much fun.
Zamunda.
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 Zamunda. Like Bunda.
Munda.
Yeah.
Manda. Yeah. So.
Hey, that subscription's going to me. To myself.
Let's not get carried away. Let's see. He's got 198 subscribers. We could sit here all night to address all of the fake news propaganda.
It must be done. It must be done. Listen, I'm not saying to necessarily force like putting in a headlock to subscribe.
I am putting them in a headlock to subscribe. You know what I mean? Like we can just end the stream and just just chill here. Yeah. So we make music here. Do we not? We will do stairs. We'll run. They're boxing today. There's a lot of stuff we could do.
You need to get them on the.
What do you mean?
You need to get your channels right.
My chat is on. Oh, you mean like so they can see it? Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Do you know how to do it?
Yeah, I don't know. Because giving them full access to the chat, mate.
This is 212. This is 212 for his channel. Guys, we'll be here all day. Now, why did I invite Amiri to this? Right? I could have just addressed the fake news by myself. But Amiri was brought into this by reaction channels that are just trying to spin a narrative, that believe what they believe regardless of the facts. The same reaction channels that would paint Kevin Samuels a negative light by watching clips and not watching the full show and spinning a narrative without knowing what they were talking about.
I'm going to blow a fuse at 1,000 subscribers.
But, we don't work for free here. We don't work for free. So what we need to get Amiri to 1,000 subscribers.
Beautiful. It's going up. Thank you, guys.
What are we at?
They want to see some spice.
Now, the app for Amiri's channel.
Would you be interested in collecting 5-figure paychecks for a few hours of work, helping me in your spare time from home? I'm on a mission.
It's the fresh. Yeah.
They want to see some spice.
Now, the app for Amiri's channel is the Fresh Prince of Zamunda.
Zamunda. I think she said it wrong on purpose, Zamunda.
Zamunda. Munda. What's it from? I don't know.
Coming to America.
It's what's that? Is that a movie?
Yep.
Thank you, Gail. Gail is everywhere.
I know. She's active, enjoying. Yo, actually banned me from eating on the stream.
She banned you from eating? Yeah. You can eat on my stream.
I know. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. So. Yeah, here at JPT, we don't work for free, which is why we need to get Amiri monetized. We need to get him monetized yesterday. So, once he's monetized, we will answer all questions.
Yep.
I really think that's a fair thing. We can answer all questions and talk about fake news media. Fake news media. Guys, can you imagine making a whole hit piece having never watched a full episode? Can you imagine making a hit piece admitting that you did not watch the full episode?
Do you know
against a friend. Can you imagine?
Fair use, yeah, is like if you're doing like a news report. So as a reporter, you're supposed to like get all your facts and all your information in order before you even consider turning on the camera.
And look, we know mistakes happen. We expect mistakes to happen, but when it's not corrected, when there's no effort to be biased, when there's no effort to tell the facts of the case, tell the real story, that's when we have a problem here at JPT. And we have been taking notes.
Hey, I'm watching you. I'm watching the chat guys, I'm watching the chat guys, bro. I love my JPT chat guys, man.
Now, guys, again, we're at 228 for Amiri. 228. Do you know how many watch hours you need to be monetized? I actually don't know.
4,000.
4,000. All right, we'll work on that later. We're going to get the 1,000 subs first.
I'll get that quick.
Yeah. We just need to get you your base. Now, guys, why subscribe to Amiri? Well, I don't know anybody as creative and entertaining as him. No, seriously, this man has gone viral before he even had a channel. He's been on many of the most watched podcasts. And tell him what you would like to talk about in your channel. Tell him he has a finance podcast coming soon.
Yeah.
Tell him about what type of content.
So listen. So basically, my podcast is going to be based on like finance for the laymen. For the guys that don't know. We'll get some money in your pockets. I'm going to aim to keep it in there. I'm going to get some of the best finances, the best mergers and acquisitions. We're going to get the best day traders. We already got them lined up. You know how we work.
How we work.
Yeah. So that's that, man.
Now,
if you want to get your stocks up, check me out. If you want to see blow fuse, check me out.
Now, there's a lot of questions in the chat. We do reaction channels. So how are we different than the fake news media? That's a fair question, right?
Yeah. I think I'm so unbiased to my own detriment. That's what I think.
Well, it's all about going into things in good faith. It's all about looking for the facts of the case and not just spinning a narrative.
These guys know, man.
You know, for example, I would hate to say that a certain someone has no life experience when I've just been sitting in my room reacting to shit for 10 years.
Shots fired.
No, I don't name names here.
Shots fired, man.
You know, I would hate to say that you should always attack the argument and never the person, and then call someone a bitch, a dweeb, and a weirdo. Isn't that quite rude?
Yep.
Now, is that someone that's objective, that's looking at the facts of the case?
You're giving them too much.
You're right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm giving them too much.
Too much.
Yeah, you're right. Go subscribe to Amiri's channel, and we will give you the facts of the case. And this fake news media. Fake news. Well, what are we at? Let's look at what you're at now. Guys, when we get him to 1,000 subscribers.
So now that we've heard Pearl's intro and explanation of this live, let's look at the progression and the body language of Pearl and also her guest as the live went on. Now remember, this live was 6 hours long, okay? 6 hours long. So let's start off the very beginning, okay? Here you see them shinning and grinning and kikiing. You know, they keep saying, we got time today. We got time. We got time. We know we gonna be here for a while. We don't have to start the show until we get 1,000 subs for Amiri. Okay, let's see about that. So this is the beginning of the live. This is them cracking jokes and talking about how easy this is gonna be to get 1,000 subs for her her colleague. So let's see how this goes. So this is Pearl's body language later on in the live, maybe I would say maybe 15, 20 minutes in, you know, and she's kind of noticing that things are going a little bit slower than she thought, okay? So let's see what else happens later on. Okay, as you can see later on in the live, I would say maybe an hour or so in, Pearl starts to noticing that things are going way too slower than she thought, and she looks like she's starting to have some concerns. As you can see, she has a worried look on her face, and rightfully so. Okay, here you can see Pearl is obviously frustrated. She starts fumbling around with the computer and playing around with the keyboard because she cannot believe how low these numbers are. They're nowhere close to 1,000 subs that she promised. Oh my God, now. Y'all look on screen right now. That's Pearl. That's Pearl right there to the right. Yeah. Old Miss Successful is officially defeated. Look at her. She looks a hot mess. Oh boy. And here, Pearl officially quits the live, y'all. Her goal was to get 1,000 subs for a new colleague. And she spent 6 hours begging people to sub to his channel. And they only got up to like 700 subs, y'all. 700. So yeah. She boasted and bragged about how she definitely going to get 1,000 subs. And they weren't going to start the live until they got it. That was 6 hours ago. And they never got it. So. Pearl officially quit on her colleague, huh? Okay, Miss Successful. Like you a quitter to me.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to conclude this presentation with this last segment. This segment will be short, but important, because I think it captures the essence of Just Pearlie's Thing's entire existence. Now, I'm going to play this video clip twice, and I want you to listen closely to what she says as she enters the basketball court. Okay, here we go.
Growing up, sports were really important. I really felt like I was competing for my parents' love. Yeah, it's based on how we did in our sports season. Growing up, sports were really important. I really felt like I was competing for my parents' love. Yeah, it's based on how we did in our sports season.
Okay, now did you catch what she said? Did you catch what she said as she entered the basketball court? Okay, well, if you didn't, I'm play it for you one more time.
Growing up, sports were really important. I really felt like I was competing for my parents' love. Yeah, it's based on how we did in our sports season. Growing up, sports were really important. I really felt like I was competing for my parents' love. Yeah, it's based on how we did in our sports season.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we finally hit the nail on the head on the reason why Pearl acts as desperate and thirsty as she does on social media. In this short video clip, Pearl says, and I quote, "Growing up, sports was really important. I really felt like I was competing for my parents' love." You know, the psychologist Sigmund Freud practiced under the notion that when we become adults, we tend to seek those things in life that we didn't receive as a child. I repeat, when we become adults, we tend to seek those things in life that we didn't receive as a child. It's obvious to me and illustrated in this short clip by the words that are coming out of her mouth that Pearl suffers from a lack of childhood attention. Hannah Pearl Davis suffers from a lack of childhood attention. Pearl comes from a wealthy family, and for the most part, she has lived in a bubble truly disconnected from normal society and regular everyday people. This is why she seems so socially awkward around others, especially during interviews and show appearances. Pearl wants to be accepted so badly. She tries to act black, but she just don't have the swag. She tries to be a 304, but she just don't have the look. She tries to be a media celebrity, but she don't have the talent nor the credentials to be one. And lastly, Pearl tries to be a successful businesswoman, but we have watched her JPT network slowly crumble to pieces. It is obvious Pearl Davis is not Jennifer Davis, her mom. It is also the reason why Pearl hates what she can't be. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your time. This is Everyday Man 2K, the king of receipts. And I'm out.